Show on the road. Hey guys, you are watching Unpopular View, the NXT review show. I'm one of your hosts, Badguy Jack. I'm joined with the wonderful wrestling doll. NXT was Super Tuesday. You know, NXT was competing against AEW. There's a lot of stuff that we're going to break down on the NXT side, and we're going to chat some professional wrestling. There was a lot of surprises. There was a lot of main roster individuals on this card, but we'll talk about it all after. Oh, I found it. Intro. I'm muted.
Now
I'm
you're
not muted anymore. Okay, cool, fantastic. That's just the technical difficulty on my end because computer's slow. But guys, you're watching Unpopular View, the NXT review show. Like I was saying, once you see the graphics and stuff. I'm one of your hosts, the great Grand Slam Pooba, joined with the Wrestling Doll. And Wrestling Doll, it's not just you are the Wrestling Doll. Why don't you tell the lovely people, just before we went on air, you mentioned to me and you said, hey, I am the new UPR World Heavyweight Champion of the Galaxies. So shout out to you. Take the floor, please, madam.
Well, we had our fast lane. We have fast lane happen this past weekend, and we had our polls, which was just 5 matches. And I did not know when the person who was in charge of counting the tallies was going to do it, since they're busy with their jobs and such.
No, you could be honest. He
So,
sucks.
well, I'm not going to say that, but I figured why not do the polls now as quickly as possible, just to be nice and help. And with the score of 4-1, I did win. Someone else did have the same votes as I did. However, they're not on the program often. So now I finally have a title reign on UPR. I can finally say I am one of a list of UPR champions.
Shout out to you. The previous week it wasn't a really good week. We had 2 PLEs. The NXT show I got smoked. That Saturday it was the technician David Sanderson, and we also had Shea Sawyer. They were sharing their title run, but then the next day they dropped it to me. I don't share title reigns. Everyone kept saying you and EC are tied. No, EC's tied with me. And then we had this following pay-per-view. You won it. I'm happy that you have bought this title here on Tuesday nights, because Tuesday nights is the A show. And if you don't believe me, then there's something wrong with you. But we see everyone in the chat. We got a special guest, Steve, the last daddy. Steve is in the chat. I saw him say something about AEW, so you already know he's going off. Oh my God, I almost messed this whole
He
thing
said
up.
AEW's dead now. Sayonara, Tony Khan. I'm not gonna read what he actually wrote.
I was gonna say I'm pretty sure he's
not reading
definitely
it like that. Nope.
I respect it. We got Jeffrey. Shout out to Jeff. He said, I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed this show. I enjoyed the show. He wrote it twice. That's how much he enjoyed the show. He enjoyed it. I was excited about NXT tonight, talking about George. What's going on, Sweater Time George, or Sweaterverse? We got Good Chris in the chat. Roxanna Perez held her own against Asuka, even though she lost. And we're going to talk about all of that. We're going to talk about, we got Todd in the chat. What's going on, Todd? And there's a bunch of numbers, so we're going to call you Todd Numbers. I like that, Todd Numbers. Let's get that. I'm going to write that down, Todd Numbers, because I give all you guys nicknames, so I got to do that. Where is JL? Is JL in the chat? And someone check on JL, because I don't think JL is doing well right now.
No,
I think
he's not doing well. And you know who else isn't doing well? Somebody who was at the Performance Center tonight, because their quote-unquote greatest North American champion lost to getting the NXT championship. So, sucks to suck.
I was going to mention, too, because I know we have some friends that are at the NXT show, and I was going to mention, but I'm glad that you mentioned it, because I forgot. Yeah, I'm pretty sure right now he's just punching air. We got Jeffrey. My apologies. Hey, Jack and Rosendale.
About the booking, saying that Triple H is out of his mind, yada, yada, yada. And we also had Steve in the chat saying that it would have been better for business if Dominic won. I just put those faces with the lines for eyes and the mouth, and I was just like, no.
We got George.
Absolutely not. Does he want me to break the only thing that I watch NXT on? Because I'm not going to do that just because Dominic Mysterio ever winning that championship.
And there we go. We got George. He says Shotzi and Scott are going to host the NXT Halloween Havoc. Absolutely. We're going to get to that. Todd Numbers says, "What am I, a bookie now?" Yes. And we got Jeffrey said Braun got served twice. Yes, he did. Right there. His ass was on a silver platter and it was served twice. But while we sit here with Steve, Dom should have won the NXT Championship. That would have shattered ratings. Me reading that just shattered my eyes. Steve,
me thinking about that would have shattered my dreams of anybody else besides Dominic being a champion.
I think my risk would have been shattered because I think I would have punched the wall. I don't. Matter of fact, I don't think I would be doing the show right now. I think I would be.
George said, Stevie, joking, right?
Steve is a funny guy.
George, I'm going to explain this in the nicest way possible. Every single one of the fathers in the UPR family all like Dominic. You know why they like Dominic? Because Dominic ain't their kid.
There we go.
He's being a bratty kid who's trying to rebel and act out against his father, etc., etc., etc. They just like it because it ain't their damn kid doing that. If that was their kid, they would have given their kid an ass whooping. And considering the dads in our chats are Black and Latin, we are perpetuated to that stereotype of disciplining our kids with spankings. With the shoe, with the belt, with whatever we can find.
I always have a fear when I see the legendary cachatla. I think that's how you say it.
It can be chancla, chancleta. Depends on which type of Spanish person you're speaking to. We all have different words for the same thing.
There we go. NXT, it opens up with the American Nightmare. Now, I have a friend of the show. Her name is, and George, no, because, I mean, not George, well, maybe George too. I'm not too sure. But Jeffrey, friend of the show, and Kat we trust, or I call it mistrust. She's not a big fan of Cody Rhodes, right? But I like Cody. Cody's a pretty good guy. So when the show opened like this, I immediately sent her a video saying, "Whoa, it's Cody Rhodes." Yeah, well, you know, I think, you know, Katrina, I think she's fantastic. I had to, you know, they did this review show and they tried to badmouth Brett. Now, you know how I feel about Brett. Anytime you badmouth Brett, I will put my dukes up and I will fight you. But I used words and I mentioned how Bret Hart still have hair and Shawn Michaels don't, and they never was able to recover from that. But it opened up with Cody Rhodes. He said he'd be lying if he said he ever be in the NXT ring, but he said this just feels right. So he's a fan of that leader song from the early 2000s. You guys know what I'm talking about. He talks and Cody Rhodes is out here with announcements. That's what he does. Cody Rhodes is doing his best impersonation of Tony Khan because Tony Khan, he loves announcements. That is his thing. But Cody said, I'll take it up one step higher. So Cody Rhodes, he talks about this, that there will be a men's breakout tournament after the women have finished theirs. He also announced what JL is in the chat. Okay, let's go. NXT has pissed me off for the last time. I don't believe you, sir. Hold on. I don't believe you. You will be here next week, and when Braun does something, you will be right here sitting there saying, "Yeah, Braun, let's go. Let's go." And I know you're going to be doing that. But go ahead, Wrestling Dog. I mean to take over the floor. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. I was just wondering if he needed some tissues in terms of what happened tonight.
Yes, he's probably gonna need some tissues. He's probably gonna need some ice cream, covers.
Need some aloe for the burns that Bron Breakker received.
I love how George is such a. I want to say, George, you're such a tattletale though, because look at him. He said JL's in the chat. Like I would have not known if I didn't look up. George, matter of fact, give yourself 10 points. That was great. JL, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not even going to take points for you. I know tonight is really harsh, so I'm going to be a good guy here. George, give JL 15 points. I can't tell you what them points do, but I hope that makes you feel better. Finn got smoked. Finn gets dominated all the time. He
does. I mean, I voted for the Judgment Day to retain the belts for payback, but hey, I was not mad at them losing the belts because it's showing the Judgment Day falling apart at the seams. Listen, if Dominic had not been crown champion again and them two had lost the belts, Rhea would have gotten pissed and exploded on all of them. That would have been funny.
Who do you think is the leader of the Judgment Day?
Rhea.
Okay.
Sorry, Shay.
No, thank you.
At this point, it's Rhea. She's the one that's like mediating, making sure everybody stays calm and all that stuff, trying to take charge. I mean, I see it like that.
I think everyone does. We talked about the men. Cody was also out there to what a lot of people were saying that he would announce that the Dusty Classic is back. He didn't give a date for any. The only thing he said for the men's was going to happen right after the women's, and for the Dusty, there was never a date or anything about that. But he also said
within like the next couple months.
Okay, and then he mentions that tonight he is the special GM. So Cody was just. I thought it was interesting that they opened the show with Cody because with AEW on the other. Excuse me, let me get my thoughts together. With AEW on the other air and having Cody open is almost like Cody's like, I have created you, now I must destroy you. So I thought it was interesting that he opened up, but he mentions all these things. He's a special GM. Dragunov comes out. The crowd is saying happy birthday, so I guess today is his birthday. I'm pretty sure when he blew out the candles out for his cake.
When he blew out the candle, his wish was, I wish to beat someone I wish I had someone to beat really easily today in a match for my belts.
No, you know what I think? I think that when he blew that cake out, the candles out, the cake, the candle, and everything blew off the table because I think everything he does is intense. I think if he gives you a hug, you would have a cracked rib because everything is a competition to this wild man. This man's a wild man. I'm sorry. Let's get Bron made Cena nervous talking about JL. JL is hilarious. JL should win funny. I don't know how many zeros. George I don't even think is that a real number George put up there. There's a lot of zeros, but I appreciate that he's at 50 points for JL.
He put 1.2 million for you.
Damn. You know what it is, guys? Like I can count very high, but when it's a fourth zero, I stop. I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'm just gonna say this for reference. Anytime you see a number with 6 zeros on it like that means it's a million. If it's 9, it's a billion.
See, this was a teachable moment here on Unpopular View. You can't get this on any other day except here. I'll say for the end of the day, thing because this is a really weird book, but I'll mention it later. What was I getting at? So Dragon comes out. They're saying happy birthday. He's talking about how excited he is about Cody. He's like, Cody, you're like the light man. You're he was praising Cody. Then Dominic, because it's not a show if the
without Dominic coming out whining and moaning and bitching and complaining about everything.
Yeah, I was going to mention because it's not a show unless the Judgment Day interrupts you. So they come out. Dominic refused to defend his North American Championship, but Dragon still just wanted to match with him. He said, "I want to, defend my championship, go against you." And Cody makes it happen. So it's Dragunov against Dom later in the night with LA Knight as the ref. And I tell you, when I heard LA Knight, I was like, oh, he wasn't even announced, but they're not playing. And they were not playing because the first match they opened up it was Asuka against Roxanna Perez with Shotzi Blackheart on commentary. Now, I was a little concerned at first because when I saw Shotzi come out, I was like, oh, God, I hope she's not going to interfere in this match. And because I didn't think Asuka should lose. That was just my thought. I said Asuka should not lose.
Asuka was a dominant force in NXT, one of the most dominant women's champion in there, Tiffany. So having her lose in there would have made her not look as strong as she used to be. Plus, she needed a little something after not being victorious in that triple threat match during Fastlane,
right?
Which was not all her fault.
Right. Excuse me, random cough. I thought these women had a pretty decent match. I mean, it wasn't. I don't want to say. Yeah, Roxanne. You know what? That's a great way of putting it. Roxanne held her own. She was in the ring with someone as
just get over it and stop booing her just because she beat Lola a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Roxanne. What was I going to get at? Roxanne was able to keep up with Asuka. I was going to mention, Asuka has a lot of experience. And her going out, her just, and it wasn't so one-sided. Most of it was Asuka, but it wasn't one-sided. It wasn't like this was a squash. So Asuka getting the win. She beat her with like a kick or something like that.
With the thrust kick.
And was able to beat Roxanne Perez. And then after the match, after the match.
Kiana James had to
Yeah.
come out and attack Roxanne because she's so unhappy with the fact that people like Roxanne, pay attention to her. She's turning into Tiffany, basically. If the attention's not on her, she has to throw a hissy fit. But then Shotzi got the best of Kiana, attacked her, and then checked up on Roxanne.
I agree with Jeffrey in the chat. He's saying Boom Roxanne should. It is a crime because I don't even understand how.
Because you know what? When Roxanne came into the NXT universe after being on Ring of Honor, everybody was so happy to see her, was applauding, cheering for her every single time. Now that she beat Lola one time, everybody's gonna be mad and being Boo Boo the Fool over here.
Boo Boo the Fool. You don't want to be Boo Boo the Fool, guys. Todd Numbers says last 5 minutes look stiff. Yeah. Well, it's Asuka in the ring, you know. Asuka, there we go. Asuka, Jeffrey mentioned Asuka is undefeated in NXT. Yep, absolutely, and it should stay that way. Honestly, it should stay that way. I just didn't think Roxanne should have been the one to beat her. I think the stipulation was if Roxanne won, then she would have a match with Kiana James or something like that. But it looked like that match is still going to happen.
It's still going to happen regardless whether or not that she won or lost. I mean, Kiana probably put that stipulation on there knowing that Roxanne was not going to get the best of Asuka just so she could be safe from her. Sweetie, you can't run away forever from one of NXT's favorites, even though the crowd keeps booing her just because she beat Lola.
The crowd is, can we be quite honest, the crowd is fickle. It's very, very fickle. Because even now, something now that they're saying Mellow Miss, I'm like, yeah, but that was your hero a few months ago. But
savage as hell. That's the problem.
Oh, well. They suck. Jeffrey said he sort of respond on the Big Pop Today podcast about Cody nasty work. Absolutely. Nasty work. That sounds like a business thing. Roxanne's going to beat Kiana. Roxanne doesn't seem like anything crazy. She is a bit cringe. JL, how dare
JL just wants to be like Corey Graves, Wade Barrett, wants to just say ridiculous things just to get a reaction out of both of us.
But you know, there's a thing. I've taken a liking to JL. I've taken a liking to him because I just feel like this guy yells all the time. Like, I know it's like, well, you're just reading what he wrote, but I feel like this guy yells. He just like, I don't know. He has a bat somewhere.
TV every time Bron Breakker's not on his screen, and if Bron Breakker's getting attacked on his screen, he yells, "What is wrong with you all?"
You know, one day JL, when Bron gets called up, he's probably gonna be a future world champion, and JL is gonna be like, "That was my guy first."
Yeah,
that's gonna be JL. Okay, the next match we got Gallus going against Tyler Bate and the Brawling Brutes. Butch and I almost said Pete Dunne. I don't know why I separate Butch and Pete Dunne. They're the same person. And Ridge. And it was a pub rules match. This looked fun. This honestly looked very, very fun.
Any match where there's weapons allowed is always fun.
Not necessarily true. There's been some weapon matches that was dull as hell. And I'm talking I've seen some weapon matches and I was sitting there saying like if I had to rate that, I would sit here and say that looked like an ass that got surgery, and you should sue the person who did that to your ass because that looks stocky. Yes, botched. Yes, botched. Isn't that a show?
Yes.
I remember that botch. Yeah, I remember that. But this was fun, guys. I'm not gonna go through all the moves. I always say that to you guys because I don't know if that's what y'all expect for us to sit here and go through all the
moves. We give our opinions and say brief things about it. We're not necessarily like color commentators that go move by move on everything.
Well,
we JL a lot longer.
I wanted to point out in the chat, JL, he wanted to make it clear that he doesn't yell, and he just says, "Now I'm just very passionate about this." Keep the passion alive.
Some of us just choose to express it differently, and he thinks that you yell. So
I do think you yell. I just can't. Like, I feel like Jeffrey. If I met Jeffrey in real life, he's a calm guy. He doesn't yell. I think he has a really simple voice. George, I don't know why. I just think you punch things. That's what I think. We got New H Man in the chat. He says, "Hi there, guys. How was your Columbus Day?" I spent a good portion of the time sleep. I played some Street Fighter 6, and I realized I suck at that game. What about you, Rustin? Why you
Columbus Day again?
It was on Monday. It was yesterday. Dignus
I was
People
working,
Day.
so it was a normal day for me.
We got I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh, but we got Steve in the chat. I know this guy. This guy could have been such a Bond villain. Like something about the Steve guy. I could tell you, he could have been a Bond villain. Like I could image him with a turtleneck. He presses a button and something explodes.
So
he
you
says,
imagine Steve looking like Christian.
I think well, Steve got more muscles. I met him in real life. Like he really wears a long sleeve shirt just to cover his muscles because he's not braggadocious. Like me, I would wear sleeveless shirts if I had muscles. That's why I'm wearing a onesie because it's cold and I'm hiding my muscles. But this match was fine. This match was good for what it was. Russell Dawn, why don't you give your thoughts on this match against Gallus, against Tyler Bate, and the Brawling Brutes?
Well, this insanity was everything I thought was going to happen. So, I mean, it was only a matter of time before everything exploded on both sides of these two. I mean, what else can you say about Gallus and the Brawling Brutes and British Strong Style? I guess we're getting with Tyler Bate and Butch here while he's still down there. Which quite the interesting name. I'm just gonna say that.
I do like that they have Butch and Riggs down there. Something about it just seems like it works. I remember last week I had to ask because I realized Sheamus has been off TV for a while.
Well, he's injured,
right. But it's cool that they found something for them to do, and I feel like that NXT crowd eats that what they do.
Oh my God! JL said something that I agree with finally, and it only took
I don't believe it. I have to see it. What did he say?
Gallus just doesn't connect with the crowd, even as Champ's boring like paint drying. I've been saying that for ages.
I love how he it's Gallies, then it's Gallop, Gallus. Oh, I'm so mad. I can't.
Listen, for that one, I'm gonna let it. Listen, all the pretty stuff you said, I'm gonna let it slide. But for this, it's fine. It happens. But for one, you're right. I've been saying it. Gallus is boring as hell. Even as champions, they were boring. They got called over here because they were good and dominant in NXT UK is my guess. Meanwhile, Steve says they should go to AEW. No,
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because
if they go to AEW, they're going to be stuck in catering. They're already stuck in catering over here when they're not getting called every 5 months. They part-timers without even being part-timers in their show
anymore. I just want to show him JL typing because he's so mad. Like it's the greatest thing. Like, why are we not advertising this? What are we doing here? JL, I want you to talk to me because I have an idea for a show with you. I just want you to just do things and you're just mad. Like he says, "Oh, I'm so mad I can't type," and then he just breaks the keyboard. This is great. Like I'm gonna keep it professional. I'm so sorry.
On the right side, they had an epic finish with the triple power bomb on Joe Coffrey through a table.
Oh yeah, no, the Shield is proud of him. The Shield sat there and said, "You get it." Seth, Roman, and John, who's probably bleeding right now.
Maybe said it if he was watching in the back. Roman's busy trying to figure out what the fuck to do with this insane family in the WWE right now.
You know what's a funny thing, right? Last on Saturday they were talking about Paul Heyman, right? And this is the most we've ever seen with gray hair. And someone, because you mentioned about Roman's family, it was funny because someone said he's getting gray hair because he has to keep dealing with Jimmy's bullshit.
Well, he does. I mean,
he do.
Listen, Jimmy betrayed Roman at one of the last pay-per-views. Then he betrays his brother at the pay-per-view after that, saying he was trying to help his brother not become that, even though we all know what he did. And then all of a sudden he rejoins the bloodline because he's like, oh shit, now I betrayed my best friend. I got to go back to the people I betrayed in the first place just so I don't get isolated by everybody because now nobody's going to like me. Make up your mind, Jimmy. My God.
Make up your mind. I feel like that's an Erykah Badu song.
It might be.
It could be. We got this really great video. It was with Becky, talking about Becky and Lyra. They're both coming from Ireland, talking about the success story of Becky, being Becky, becoming the man, all that stuff. And then even showing a nice, I thought this was really cool that they showed this clip. I think it was like 2018. Her and Becky are talking about Lyra just training in the ring, and they're gonna have a match October 24th at Halloween Havoc Night 1. So you know what? Let's talk about that because Steve is in the chat. He said, "Yo, what about Paul Heyman recruiting Ava?" That was interesting. I saw that clip on Twitter. Um, I mean, what Schism was it called? Schism
Yeah.
Dyad. They're done, right? They're done. Joe
Schism's
Coffey.
done. The Dyad, the tag team left way earlier than we expected because they just straight up disappeared and they didn't even explain it much, saying that the roots, the tree starting to die or whatever. Now Gacy, if he has recruited her, he's got nobody left down there. I mean, I didn't think this is what was going to happen to him 2 years ago when I first saw him in that breakout tournament. Maybe he'll
talking about
Joe Gacy that I actually liked.
Joe Gacy, right. I said Joe Coffey earlier. Joe Gacy.
Well, we weren't talking about Dallas, so that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Oh well, no, you know what it is? It's Joe. Like when I heard Joe, immediately I don't know why I went to Joe Coffey, but
hey, it's like watching AEW now. They got 3 Adams.
That is ridiculous. AEW have a total Adam fetish. Like it is just giving Adam fetish because that's ridiculous. And granted, they can't help.
Baby, and now they got the rated R Adam Copeland.
I saw this funny meme, and it's Roderick Strong yelling Adam, and you see Adam Copeland, Adam Hangman Page, and Adam Cole, just all looking like what, baby. Big fan of Adam Cole. It's a shame that he's out hurt. I like Adam Cole.
Me too.
But this was a great video package. What did you want to add any thoughts to this before we move forward?
Well, we did get Tegan Knox coming up during Lyra's interview saying that she should have the title match with Becky instead of Lyra getting it, even though Lyra earned it fair and square in that triple threat contenders match. And Lyra tells her that she's not going to let anybody get in her way, get in front of her. She's like, you had your match after Natalya replaced you before, and now you're going to get mad at me and trying to do the same thing to me that Natty did to you? A little hypocritical, don't you think? I get you want a title shot again, but damn, don't do it at my expense.
You know, I was really disappointed.
Sorry to cut you off, but shout out to Miss Becky Lynch for putting over the people that don't get used all the time for title shots. She did it with Tegan. She's gonna do it with Xia Li at some point. Maybe she'll do it with Candice and Mia Yim. I would love to see those matches.
I didn't get a chance to watch Raw last night. I heard that they had a match, and I expected Becky to beat Tegan Knox. But I heard Xia Li's name, and I was like, "Whoa!" Because I haven't heard that name in such a while. It's been a while.
Last we saw her, they were putting a vignette together of her being like the superhero of her family, so to speak, of like protecting her family from a horrible father type figure, and then she wants to turn into the bad guy, and then after
I loved it so much.
They stopped using her.
I loved it. I love that so much because she was the protector. That's what she did. She was protecting people when she was on the main roster.
And she turned to protect herself.
Yeah, and then she got tired of protecting people, and she said, "I will not protect you. You do that stuff.
Protect me.
I will protect me." I loved all of that. Like, I don't know why she changed. It was like 2 weeks in. She says, "I'm tired of you guys. You defend yourself." So, no, and I agree with what you're saying. I do appreciate that Becky is trying to put some women over that wouldn't have an opportunity. One of the big things that I always say is that these women can't really get over unless, or not even just these women, but a lot of the talent, they can't get over if you just keep them backstage. And you need to add depth into whatever division it is, rather it's women or
a lot of women in the back. You don't use them at all in the back. They're literally just standing around and catering and doing something. And then you let them go because they're not getting used on TV.
Right.
That's y'all's fault for not doing anything with them.
It's a I would say a combination of both when it comes down to it, because creative, but also too as the talent. A lot of time, like shout out to this gimmick didn't do it for me, but I give her credit because she came up with it and said, "Hey, let's run with this." And I'm talking about Nikki Cross when she was doing the whole superhero thing. I give her credit for just coming up with something. Because sometimes you have to create your own opportunity.
People were interested again. Some were buying the merch, coming dressed up as it, and then she became Raw Women's Champion as Nikki ASH.
What I learned about that gimmick, what I learned about that gimmick is it wasn't for me. It was for, like you mentioned, how people were dressed up as it. Like when you see the little girls dressed up like her, I'm like, oh, that's not for me. That's for that audience. So, shout out. But I just think that sometimes that's the talent you gotta come up with. John Cena is a great example. He was ready to be fired, and I don't know if it was 02, 03, and then he came up with started rapping, and he came up with that. And
Xavier
now, and
Woods
now
put
look at him.
the New Day on the line by being heels, saying if they didn't get like popular enough, they would have all left, and
You
they
know who
still
else?
here.
Another good example too. Um, God, what's his name? Tyler Breeze, because he had a bunch of other gimmicks before he did the model stuff, and I remember watching this.
OMG, is that Tyler Breeze?
Uh-huh. Tyler Breeze. Yes,
And then
Tyler
we had
Breeze.
Breezango.
Breezango. They used to have some funny skits on the main roster. I think there was one where Tyler Breeze was dressed up as a janitor and he had like a fake mustache and no one could tell. We got. I'm sorry. I want to get into this chat real quick, and we're gonna go back into NXT. We were just reminiscing here, but because I see JL. There's a lot of talk. JL says
JL and
lashes.
George are having a little conversation. JL was saying that Lash deserved the title shot.
Mhm.
George is saying, "Oh, you can't be serious." JL saying she has untapped potential, and then they're going back and forth. Really, George says he's not sold on Lash Legend, and then JL said about Ava, "What does Ava have besides being the Rock's daughter?" She has the potential to tap into said potential to work hard and train harder, even more harder than she already is, to look better in the ring. And if she does get brought up for some reason, put her with somebody that'll make her look good. Even if it is a random indie wrestler jobber for like 5 seconds, do something to make her look good. Because her match with Ivy had to do all the hard work.
I have no stake in this dog. I think that Ava, y'all kept saying potential, untapped potential. She just gotta get more reps in. She gotta do
She
more
does,
reps. She
but
she
they don't.
definitely just need. She just
The
needs.
problem is they don't use her on TV or even in like the house shows that they have throughout Central Florida enough, at least from like pictures and clips and stuff of what I'd seen. How are they going to get people to watch her more or be interested in her as far as like wrestling wise if they don't put her in the ring to do something? I mean, look at Jade Cargill. Was she the greatest wrestler AEW had? No. But they made her look dominant and powerful as hell, even if she looked bad sometimes, if she looked stiff, if she didn't sell the move right, if she messed up. WWE is going to do something to help her out. They're going to make her character look less than one-dimensional. AEW had that problem, making her look so one-dimensional for always winning all the time. I read that in an article, and I was like, that makes so much sense. That's why I didn't like Jade Cargill, because she seems so one-dimensional. Now maybe she can be three-dimensional, and I can actually like her.
Yeah, I think there's so much potential. We're going to talk about it because I know George put in the chat earlier about Jay Cargill. Yeah, we're going to talk about it. But he did put this in the chat, and he said put Ava on level up. I think that's a smart move because once again, she just needs more reps. You get better if you do more reps, and I think that would help her out a lot. Her last match, he was talking about Ava. I mean, not Ava. I mean, we were talking about Ava, but yeah, sorry. And I remember thinking, oh, this is not. She needs more reps. Jeffrey says they put her on TV too soon was the problem. I want to say yes and no. I kind of agree with that, but not really. Because I feel like she was with this company for a while. Like it's not like she was here for 6 months and they just threw her on TV.
Years before she was officially put out on TV.
Speaking of Jade had a wild pop. Jeffrey, go ahead. They said that's why she's training at the Performance Center training. Talking about that's coming from George. Second best pop of the night Jade had.
Not wrong.
Yeah. She did get a nice pop. I'm
just happy they didn't change her name. That's
we're gonna talk about an actual name change. We're gonna talk about a name change. We're gonna keep moving forward. Oh, we talked about like, oh yeah, I just wanted to get my thoughts. Yeah, I was really disappointed in Tegan Knox on how she tried to interrupt Lyra like that,
And
knowing
trying to
damn
take
well
her
just
back.
2 weeks, yes, just like 2 weeks ago, Tegan was interrupted, and she didn't like that, and she said, oh, I didn't want to like step on the toes, and now she's stepping on Lyra's toes, and it's like, stop doing that. Why'd you do that? Why are you like that? But they're going to have a match next week. This is starting to shape up to look like Tegan is going to be making some kind of turn. Um, Maybe not. Part of me thinks that Tegan is going to be turning soon, which is sad because I like Tegan. She's such a nice. You know what? Shout out to Tegan.
I mean,
Shout
it
out that she's
wouldn't
getting all this
surprise me
TV time.
with all the hell she's been through the last few years in her career with Dakota Kai and then Candice tearing her knee up.
Well, maybe there was good reason behind it. You never thought about that. Sometimes I think about ripping someone's leg.
There was a good reason for Candice LeRae to turn on her friend and destroy her knee.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
All I'm saying is, back in the day, if I had a reason, I just did it. So maybe Candace probably looked at Tegan and said, "Hey, why do you have 6 colors in your hair?" And
Why
held
not?
it against. Well, that's a damn good question. I thought he was getting ready to sing Hillary Duff 2003 Why Not from the
I mean, I would, but I don't remember all the words to it, so
I don't remember, what was that damn show? Lizzie McGuire. There we go. I used to rock with Hillary. Hillary Duff still look good for her age, right?
Yeah,
I think
she
she's like
does.
35.
She's one of
She
the
looks
only
fantastic.
few Disney kids to not be in a scandalous news ever in terms of like.
Well, that's not true because I don't have any kind of scandal. I was a Disney kid too. I'm just on the bottom. You don't get to see me as much, but I'm pretty clean. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yes.
Thank you for that. John Cena comes out. This crowd, George said in the chat earlier, this crowd was really, really hot. When John Cena came out, that crowd
Lost
blew
their
up.
mind.
Yeah, and they was in there singing John Cena, but there was this one guy in the crowd, and I felt like he was trying way too hard because it was like John Cena. I forgot what the chant, but then you hear him, John Cena. He just sucks, and it's just, you can tell it's that one freaking dude. It's like that one dude.
They wanted
Probably
to
had a
start
thing.
up the John Cena sucks thing, and everybody
No,
likes.
I know who it was though. It was JL. JL was in that crowd, and he knew Braun was going to come out there. So when John Cena was out there, he said John Cena sucks, and then he got more intense as he kept saying suck. That sounds so
Listen,
cool.
sweetie, I know you were trying to do a repeat of what they used to do before with him, aka what I call the Kurt Angle, but they like him too much right now, so it ain't gonna happen. Hi, Charmaine.
Charmaine. I'm saying that Charmaine is in the chat. What's going on, Charmaine? JL says eye roll. Oh, we're talking about Cena. This man is so annoyed.
Look what Jeffrey just said. That's funny.
Bron Breakker sucks. Bron Breakker sucks. That's a lot of use. This is so intense.
Well, he's
JL,
trying to
that
emphasize it like the crowd used to do. He's going like, Bron Breakker sucks.
I used to do a shimmy with it when I would go out, and there was this real funny one. Look it up. It's SummerSlam 2016. It's him and AJ Styles, and when he comes out, it's in New York. And they're saying John Cena sucks, and he does this like little dance with it and stuff. I thought it was so fantastic. But John Cena comes out.
He was just vibing with it. He was like,
John Cena's such a vibe. Like John Cena, I sit here and say a lot. Like we were so rough on this guy. All this guy wanted to do was the right thing. We got Crazy Joe.
He never really turned at all in his 20-some year tenure of being in WWE.
We got Crazy Joe says
saying hi to both of us.
He's fantastic. He combined your two names.
He called me Dolly.
That is fantastic. That's gonna be like that's the name you do. Like if you left UPR and then you could take you Wrestling Doll with you, so you find a way to fuse a name like sometimes people can't take their WWE name. They take I would say, oh, that's their Impact name. So that's your Impact name. Doll. There we go. Cena matches his outfit.
Impact NWA name.
Yeah, NWA.
Ring of Honor because Ring of Honor is part of AEW, and I choose not to.
If I was in, you said Ring of Honor, my Achilles just started to break when you said that. Jesus. I gotta come up with an Impact name now. Jeez. All right, this is good stuff here. I like that you have an Impact name. I gotta have an Impact name. I'm not making excuses. Is what JL says. New H Man says. New Age said, I like your hat, Wrestling Doll. Are you going to have a Halloween party on next Tuesday? On the third, there's next week, the 31st, and I don't know it. Did this month just fly by?
It's a couple weeks from now.
Cena
Maybe if I don't wind up going for night 2 of Halloween Havoc at NXT.
There we go. JL, I mean, this guy's fantastic. Cena mess with Bron's protein bar.
Oh, Bron Breakker's because of his protein bar. I think he'll live.
I love all of that. You know, like, because, you know, John Cena, if you look at the stuff that he did when, what was it called? Total Divas, and he had Nikki Bella sign this contract, it was pretty much you could only breathe 3 times in one day. And now you're telling me this guy steals people's protein bars? John Cena, who was in Fast and the Furious, wasn't he in a Transformers movie? Isn't this the guy who got paid big bucks to be at WrestleMania this year, and he's stealing protein bars? That is quite the fall.
I mean, I won't lie. I only knew John Cena as like an actor, so Total Divas is where I first found out that he was a wrestler.
You know, and it was funny. You was talking about earlier how John Cena's never turned heel.
That's
not true. That's not true. You got to watch that Total Diva stuff. He was a total heel. I watched 5 minutes of a clip, and I said, I can't stand this man. But I
mean, why else is Nikki not with him anymore? So
I just thought because John Cena, I don't know why.
They both wanted different things, so it wasn't going to work out for them.
Yeah, she wanted to see John, and John didn't want to be seen. I made a John Cena.
To see marriage through. He did not after his previous one, but that's.
Do you think like in the way if they was to actually get married, like, you know, she'll wear a nice dress, she'll look really good for the part, right? And then John Cena, you just see a floating suit walking down the church. I don't know why. I would have loved to have seen that on TMZ. They're like John Cena and Nikki got married. You just see a floating suit. I amuse myself, guys. That's why I do these shows, to amuse myself. If you laugh at me, good job. If you don't, you get a -5 points. But he talks about Bron. Bron comes out there. Bron's it up. You know, John Cena gives him his respect, saying, you know, you're a very talented dude. Bron don't want to hear any of this stuff. Matter of fact, I was talking to one Shay Sawyer, and at first I thought she wrote that Bron is going to cook John Cena, and I said, I'm sorry. I said what? And now I realized I read it too fast, because everyone knows when John Cena gets the mic, you better run. Listen,
when John Cena's cooking on the mic, you'll get out of that kitchen.
Listen, John Cena, there's a particular line that if he says it, you're done. If John Cena looks you in your face and says, fine speech, get out. Go. Because John Cena is about to smoke you. And when I say smoke you, I'm talking the day before 420, he's pre-smoking. Because that's what your ass is going to be.
Or you can just write your promo on your wrist and have it being called out.
That was
members of the same family.
He listen, when you wreck The Rock, who is
Roman,
probably top 5. Roman was not at the level of The Rock, like at all.
Oh, that's no, I know.
But Rock, when you roast Rock, who top 5 easily. I gotta sit here and say I gotta give it up to John Cena. John Cena, who probably could have saved Krypton with his own pinky. But Bron punched the crap out of John Cena. But John Cena got his chin is made of steel, so he didn't feel nothing. Got up, proceeded to hit Bron somewhat. Was getting ready to hit an AA, but Bron said, "Nah, I'm getting out of here." Let's get into this match real quick. We got Dragunov going against Dirty Dom.
Well, real quickly, I'm just going to say this. We have a tag team battle royal for the #1 contender for the NXT Tag Team Championships. Baron Corbin is complaining about not getting a match with Dragunov, etc., etc. Now we can get on to the match, because I don't really care much about what Braun said.
Yeah, I forget all. Yeah, no, I remember Baron said something, but I didn't even mention it. But there was in that segment too that you were talking about with Tony D, Stacks, and Cody in the back. You just randomly see Dijak walking in the back. I just thought that was hilarious, just seeing him walk in the back. We got in the chat. Nah, Cena broke eye contact. He didn't stand his ground. This JL guy's hilarious. JL Braun did not cook John Cena. I heard everything I needed to hear. Once again, JL. JL is just a fantastic individual. That's why
You're gonna leave now, JL. Bye.
we got Sean Main. I think she asked earlier, was you coming to New York? Ron, I'm Ron.
I may or may not, depending.
Going to karaoke. I should be there at karaoke. Yes, Charmaine. Yeah, I should do top 5 best promos. Oh my god, that would be terrible.
If we haven't already,
not even terrible.
I wouldn't be surprised if we did that next week, because I feel like this week it should be a top 5 about Eddie, since his birthday was this past week.
Eddie Guerrero, man.
He would have been 56, man. So rest in peace.
Rest in peace. You know, when I watch some of the old clips, I just laugh so hard. I was like, this man was
lying, cheating, and stealing is hilarious.
Oh, he was just so great. You know, and it's funny, but not funny, but you know, when he was alive, I saw this stuff, but as I've got older, I really appreciate his body of work. You know, when you look back at 96, 97, right, him and Rey Mysterio, Halloween Havoc, you know, and I mean, just such great stuff, man. Such to say Vinceism, such good shit. Good shit, yeah. But we got Dragon off against Dirty Dom.
With LA as a special guest referee.
Have you ever seen a referee like this? This guy has so much style. This guy has his vest. He has the referee shirt showing off the guns, and he's doing it in Tim's. Like it's wild to me. I said, and in sunglasses too. I said, I've never seen this. So I'm sitting here looking at you, WWE 2K next wrestling game. Have a special referee, because I forget if it's even in this one. And you got to have custom stuff, because I already know what my gear would look like. I'm just saying we should do that. That would be fantastic. Wrestling Doll, I've been talking so much.
Well, when I get me a console to play W2K, whether it be 22 or 23, then I'll figure something out with it.
There we go. You would be a great ref. I think you would be fair, unlike that sneaky David Sanderson. I don't trust him at all. You know, when he sat here and said, "Oh, I would be a ref in your match." I've seen how you vote David Sanderson. You know, David Sanderson. I know I keep mentioning David Sanderson, but David Sanderson, this young man, when he talks about trying to be fair, I've seen how he votes. I've seen what kind of individual this man is. When we did the polls for last year, UPR Host of the Year, this guy voted for Chris, and I know that told me everything I need to know about him. So what I'm saying is,
how do you know he even voted for Chris?
Because I saw it. I saw it because he sent me the thing, and when I saw it, I said, "This kid is an idiot." And I proceeded to sit here and got really mad. So when I saw, I know I keep saying
he has to or had to live with him. I don't know if he's still living with him or not. He had to live with that man. Okay. I don't think you want to over and over and over again complaining about how he didn't vote for him for UPR Host of the Year.
And you know what? I wish he would have stood his ground, but apparently he's a sitter, so he doesn't stand up for nothing. And I think that's disappointing. And that's why I am airing my grievances right now. Guys, we're going to have a UPR.
Is that why we air our stuff out about said man and we don't get fired for it?
I wish someone would fire me. And guess what I'll do? I'll sit there and say, open the damn door, because you know I'm needed. Oh, look, Charmaine right here. She says 3 years ago I beat David Sanders in a promo battle. See, look at that. Look at that. She beat him in the promo, and she did. She dominated him. I'm talking flat out. She put him over her knee and proceed to hit her, not with her hand, because she's not trying to get that Dave filth. She used a what is that? Cachatla? I'm sorry. Am I saying
a sando, flip flop, whatever.
I know. We'll just say flip flop, right? That's a straight point. But you guys want to hear NXT, so I'm sorry I'm airing all this stuff. I'm just in a very energized mood. I had some Pepsi. I'm going to give me a Pepsi after the show. But what did you think about this match? Dragon off against Dirty Dom. I'm going to give you the floor first. Wrestling Doll, what did you think?
I'm happy that Dragunov got to celebrate his birthday in a great way and beat the worst North American champion we've ever had in Dominic Mysterio. I cannot respect someone who is champion who has to win by cheating with somebody helping him all the damn time. But all I'm saying is Dragunov did what he said he would do. He he said his father worked in a prison, so he knows how to turn big tough dogs into tiny little puppies, basically saying that I'm going to turn you into my bitch. And so he did that.
Can I say something? It was funny, and I didn't mention this earlier in the show, and I apologize because I remember making a note of it. Sorry, that's the white rice and beans kicking in. That's why I'm having hiccups here. Earlier in the show, Dragunov tells Dom, he makes eye contact with dude. No matter of fact, he don't even look at dude. He looks at Rhea, and he tells Rhea, he says, yo, I'm going to smash your boy. And I said, yo, she dead ass said that in front of her and did nothing. And I was scared for Dom because I did not want to see him get smashed on my television.
He did what Rhea would have done if he hadn't won back that belt, and he got that ass whooped.
He did.
Dragunov whooped that Trick when Trick tried to, but unfortunately couldn't because of all the interference from said Judgment Day.
I was glad that Cody even mentioned that because that is literally a Judgment Day matches are so chaotic. Like,
Judgment Day matches are always guaranteed to have every single one of them come out. They turning them into the bloodline. Everybody's got to come out. Everybody's got to interfere. Everybody's got to keep the top person always winning, which apparently for some reason is Dominic, even though Rhea, well, we won't talk about Rhea's title reign because it's been underwhelming.
We got Charmaine. She said Dirty Dom sucks. I wish you was here when the executive consultant is here so you can teach him a lesson. I do. Listen, you gotta teach these people.
Only because I don't want him to say some stupid shit and then tell her to, and then make sure she goes away and some shit like that.
Charmaine is a strong individual. I know it because when she gave me a hug, I had to go to the hospital after that because she has the strength of like 6 women. So yes, my point is she can stand up for herself. She's not scared of Grandpa Harris. So yeah, Charmaine, keep being who you are, sweetheart. Keep doing the Charmaine thing. I feel like that's tissue. Is Charmaine tissue? Charmin plus? I don't know. But you mentioned Trick.
Corbin should beat Dominic. I think Corbin should give Dominic an ass whooping, but not beat him for that belt.
I wouldn't have
Baron.
I wouldn't have Baron. I still think originally when they had Trick win the championship, I was like, well, this was not on my card. But it's starting to sound like that. I'm starting to think, even though Dragon Lee is doing main roster things, I kind of still haven't.
Well, I think actually he signed to the main roster. They just didn't say anything about it publicly because I read somewhere that he's posted on the SmackDown website that he's been used more and more up there. Like we haven't seen him here since. I think
he's having a match. Yeah, I think he's having a match. I know last Friday he had a match with Austin Theory, but I'm trying to figure out if he's having a match this Friday because I'm not too sure.
I mean, he might. If it's not shown on like TV, it could be like on main event over there.
Okay. We got Jeffrey. He says coming out like Locust. Who?
I don't know, but George said, "Did you see Dominic slap Dragunov in the chest and looked at Dominic like really?" And Real was like, "Oh shit!" When you smack Dragunov in the chest, that he don't make a reaction, it is when the audience should start chanting, "You fucked up."
I think there was actually chanting that. There was a few times, and it was actually annoying on these shows. I know why they do it, but it's so annoying because I just feel like it takes away when the crowd might say like "holy shit" or something like that, and then they're bleeping it, and they're like "holy," and then it's like
doesn't. It does what some radio stations do with some songs when they try to bleep out words, so it's not like bad, but it just makes it either worse or it doesn't work out at all. It's when they played Korean pop songs over here and they bleeped out one word because a word that they have over there sounds very similar to the N word. So when they bleeped it out, it sounded like they were actually saying the N word. It didn't have the effect they wanted at all.
I was gonna say it sounded like they failed.
They were trying to execute something probably and they failed.
We got Jeffrey. He said Judgment Day came out like Locust he meant. and Dragon Lee and Cameron Grimes are going to battle Austin
No,
Theory.
they came on like that horror movie from like the 60s or 70s called The Birds, where the birds would start coming out of nowhere and attacking everybody.
Yeah,
That's
we
just
call that New York. That's New York. That's some pigeons.
well, I mean, there's an actual horror movie from back in the day called The Birds. So
fantastic. Okay, so let's get to this part. Let's run through these two segments. So they had Jade. She appeared on Fastlane or huh?
Which in the parking lot. Which I won't lie, when I saw the shoe come out, I thought it was Tiffany because it was pink.
You thought that?
When I was watching on my computer, it sometimes when I click on it to play because I've watched it on a website, it gets all gray on the screen for a bit when I don't have it on full screen, so it's like not completely clear. So I couldn't tell that it was a woman of color wearing it and not Tiffany Stratton.
I was confused here, right? So when I saw this, right, and I saw everyone that they were hyping up. They were saying Cody Rhodes, John Cena, Asuka, surprise LA Knight. So that's that commercial.
Another surprise, Jade Cargill.
Yeah, and so when they
don't have her pop up every single show until she makes her debut, just so people can get more hyped up.
When they showed, because I saw earlier in the day they had a picture of her holding the phone that said Shawn Michaels, but also too I was gonna say in the commercial they played the gong. So when I saw these legs, because I couldn't tell, you know how you said, oh, you thought it was Tiffany. I thought it was The Undertaker at first. And I said, wait a minute. He don't wear pink. But I was really happy it was Jade because I would have been very concerned if Undertaker had nice legs like that. But Jade is here. She shows up. She gives Shawn Michaels a hug, and then we never see her again. So she's making the rounds. She like I said, she was on Fastlane. She was on Fastlane. Saw her briefly with Triple H, and now she was with Shawn Michaels. So it makes you wonder what is next. But I mean,
I also felt like they were kind of doing that as a tiny nod for AEW. Like, look, we really got your girl over here.
We really got your girl over here. Really got your girl here. There was a segment where Carmelo Hayes and John Cena, they're in the back, they're chilling, they're just, hanging out. Trick come through. Melo introduced Trick to Cena. They're having a good time. When they're talking, Melo's like, yo, my bad about last week. I know you said you didn't need me, but I should have been there. And Trick was like, nah, we don't have to do that right here. We're in front of John Cena. To which John Cena makes the joke like, oh, you guys could see me. John Cena is such a gem. I laughed. I laughed. It doesn't take much to make me laugh.
He knows about the joke. If he didn't know about the joke, then he'd have to be living under a rock.
And I was going to sit here and say, if it was a rock, it'd be the most expensive looking rock. It would be a gold rock if he was living underneath a rock. Because that man got money. I know that man got money. That's why
I know he got money. He bought Nikki a house on Total Divas.
Now that's love.
It was love indeed.
Yeah, well, right. It was love. Whatever, whole house. Good for her. But as they're talking, you can sense this tension between Trick and Melo. Melo says something line like, I'm going to be taking on Braun, and I'm going to have Cena in my corner. And it looked like Trick was kind of ticked off by that. But then there was also a spot after when Melo left, Trick, Trick is just staring at Melo, or just staring into the distance.
Staring into the distance.
Staring into the distance. Cena's like, yo, dude, you all right? And the Trick is like, Cena, when did you know it was your time? And I think the crowd did a whoa. To which Cena said, come on, man, let's go talk. So Cena, not only is he accompanying Melo out to the ring later in the night, he's a counselor too. So shout out to him wearing all these hats. They force this thing a lot now where when Cena comes out, they say the greatest of all time. But the guy he's a counselor and he's walking out a young guy. I mean, this guy's doing it all. He should have been the ref. But I just don't think he could. I think when he saw.
I think what he should be is a GM when he stops like wrestling and stuff. Like be a GM, maybe be a coach, maybe be a producer like Bobby Roode.
It was so cool. You mentioned Bobby Roode, and I'm glad that you mentioned that.
Because of the DIY clip on Instagram.
Oh, I used to love those clips. So when they did it and they had him again and did it, I was because at first you see. It's so glorious. It's so great. It's so great. And you know when Robert Roode he looks and he doesn't know what to do and then does the head nod. Yeah, that's fantastic. It's fantastic. What was that look from Trick when Mello was leaving? That right? There's tensions. I mean, it's a slow build. It's when it happens.
We're getting that best friends turn enemies build,
Mhm.
and I'm going to be very, very sad the day that one of them
Yeah,
super kicks each other in the face. Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty style.
Jannetty. Yeah, Marty Jannetty. Marty Jannetty. Yep. And yeah,
We're all
yeah.
gonna cry.
I
We're
am. I'm
all
gonna be
gonna
on air. My eyes are gonna be red. It might be for other reasons, but they will be red.
I will need tissues.
Yeah, there we go. We had another match. This is one of the other opening matches for the women's breakout tournament. We have
We had Danny Palmer versus Lola Vice, which
Lola Vice.
everybody started dying over Lola Vice, which I get it. She's hot. Y'all need to stop hating if people beat her. Which wasn't the case tonight, which thank God, because of if they had Lola lose, then the crowd really would have started rioting. Like we didn't get that enough when she lost to Roxanne.
I thought Danny looked pretty good. For the
She
time that
did.
they gave him. She does this move. It's like a. It almost looks like a what do you call a spiral tap, but she flips and lands on her legs. And I mean, I'm just impressed by that because I know for myself, I just hear my ankles snapping when I see that. Um, but she did pretty good. But Lola Vice was the correct way to go. Um,
With a crescent kick, that's how she won.
that's how she won. But yeah, Lola Vice. Uh, George, to answer your question, did Soraya? No, Soraya lost to Sheeta. I didn't watch any of the AEW stuff, but I saw the results. And real quick, I'll just say that I'm glad that they took the title of Soraya and put it on Sheeta. So I thought that was the right move.
Now we're actually gonna get some like good matches with more bumps being taken. I mean, Saraya is fine. I just think that she should just stick to being a manager, be a GM or something. They could have had her be a manager while she was at the WWE, but they didn't want to. Do it here. They were doing that with her for the Outcast, and they put her back in the ring. Now she got nobody to manage because the Outcasts are over.
They
Now
are
Tony
over.
is acting like a Marilyn
She's
Monroe on drugs.
Tony. You mean
Is
timeless?
the greatest character of all time right now.
It is fantastic. I saw a clip and she was hitting someone with a shoe. I think she was hitting Ruby with a shoe. I said,
She
"This
hit
is."
Ruby with the shoe. She threw something at Renee at one point.
She threw a shoe at Renee. Yeah, there we go.
She
Yes.
gave
No,
the
she's.
chop to Sky Blue and called it a titty slap.
I saw a video.
I didn't say like that, but I wanted to say like that because I thought it'd been funnier.
There was a video, and I forget. I think it was Kiara Hogan. Because I
Oh,
remember I
they're
saw a
messing
video.
that on Ring of Honor.
And yeah, they did something, and she bit her butt or something like that. I was like, "What am I
She was
watching?"
playing around with her behind, and then Diamante tweeted like, "Watch out, I'm coming for your ass now," because it's my
Fan freaking tastic. Um. Oh, let's talk about this.
So we did have a little mini moment where Dominic and Rhea were walking in the back. Dominic had some ice. He's complaining, nobody respects me. Nobody cares about me being champion. And then there was a bunch of people in the back, Nathan Frazier included. He gets up to in his face being like, just because you lost doesn't mean you got to be disrespectful like that. And he's like, who are you? You're not champion. And I saw him looking at the belt, and I was thinking to myself, not yet, honey.
Ha.
Nathan Frazier versus Dominic Mysterio for the North American Championship with your winner and new North American champion, Nathan Frazier.
I don't think Dirty Dom could keep up with that speed.
No, he couldn't, and that's why he would lose. And I would be happy. I would be happy that the W on my belt would be spinning.
You know what brings me joy? Anytime like the executive consultant, like if one of his faves fall, I'm kind of for that. So like, yeah.
I'm just sad that his fave didn't fall for more than a week this time. Listen, the WWE needs to stop doing the whole give them 3 days to have a belt and then take it away from them. Why give them the belt for 72 hours if you weren't planning to take it off of the champion in the first place?
It's wild.
If y'all were trying to sell trick merch, you were doing that just fine without giving them the belts. If you're going to give them the belt, at least let them keep it for like a month or two.
Trick. Matter of fact, Trick. He got a nice reaction. I'm glad that you mentioned that. Him when he helped out Dragunov to get retain his championship. You hear the crowd because you mentioned about merch and everything like that. But that crowd is behind him because they were saying "Thank you, Trick."
The crowd is always behind anybody that takes down Dominic Mysterio.
And there we go. All right, one segment before we get into this main event of Bron Breakker with Paul Heyman going against Carmelo Hayes with John Cena in the corner. I wanted to put this in here because I am a big fan of JC Jane. You know, I appreciate that she took in this young lady, this young girl, took her underneath her wings when the dreadful Andre Chase was just being a bully. But Thea goes back to Chase U. And Andre is like, oh, what a surprise. You're here. And Thea says, and Thea says, yeah, it was JC's idea to come back. And Andre was like, okay. And then Thea said, but underneath one condition.
She said she'd come back if JC were to join her.
Yes. Who said that, Andre?
Andre Chase was fine with it as he gave a lesson about Halloween Havoc. And then he sees that they're being disruptive and everybody's on their phones.
I didn't see that.
And then he takes it out on one of the students and then he smashes the phone. She laughs, JC. And then when she's confronted about it, she says he's surprised he wasn't happy about the news, which is that Andre Chase and Duke Hudson are in the tag team battle royal for next week.
Honestly, Andre is kind of a coward. Because you said something, and you said JC was being disruptive, and I didn't see that. I just saw her. She was in class. She was doing her due diligence. She was doing JC Jane stuff. But he doesn't yell at JC.
It's like the Breakfast Club. We need one rebel.
But then he goes into this young man who's on his phone and says, "What's so funny on your phone? What's on there?" And all this stuff. And he's cussing this guy out. You didn't do that to JC Jane. Didn't have.
No, he didn't. He's done it before, where he's yelled at random students in there. And
but why not JC? Why not JC? Why not JC? Exactly. Because Andre can't. This is one chase Andre can't win.
Well, I was going to say
so good.
If he does that to JC, then Thea's going to threaten to leave with her.
Rude. I'm sorry. The chat is being outrageously rude. Look at that. Do you see what the G gang is doing in there? The G gang, Jeffrey and George, DTJ. You think you were so innovative with that word? It's shut up, man.
Well, they're not wrong.
How dare you? Wrestling Doll, I have cared for you. No, I want the floor. I want the mountain. I'm sitting here saying, I cared for you. I sat here and said, yes, my partner had brought that UPR World Heavyweight Championship of the Galaxy to Tuesday nights. And then you sit here and tell me with your very nice hat, very, very nice hat. Now it's down to a 4. I want you to know that because you did this. Because you agreed with these two hoodlums in the chat.
They're not wrong. I didn't say I fully agree.
They are very wrong. They're followers of the soya juice, and I'm going to cleanse you guys of that. I know what that is. I know that I need to fix this. I can fix anything. You talk about Bob the Builder. I taught him everything he knows. And look, this was one chase Andre can't win. That was corny. You are very rude, Jeffrey. Very rude.
With a good dad joke.
I make great. I'm not even a dad, and I make fantastic dad jokes.
You probably make better dad jokes than one of the dads in our UPR chat.
Well, if they've never won the UPR Funniest Hosts, they can't. This is a lifestyle that I've lived by, and I'm really good at it. I tell these jokes.
Good. You know exactly which dad I'm talking about.
No, there's too many of them. It's like 7 of them.
I'm talking about the one that was laughing his ass off on here last week. So.
Oh, he's banned from Tuesday nights. Banned. Let's get that hashtag going. Banned, please. We got Thea Hill is going to get back with Andre Chase. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Now it's a show. H-Man is officially back in the chat.
OG H-Man.
The OG, the original one. The hashtag, the real Spider-Man. See, H-Man, I know that you just came back into the chat, but I need you to go to work. I need you to take at least 15 points from both Jeffrey and George, and I want you to open the door so you can teach them a lesson because they have disrespected your great Grand Slam Pooba. We got, I told you I'll come back. That's Serigo. Is that Verico?
Welcome back.
Yes. Is that the one who was giving us a hard time the other night?
The one who kept saying all that stuff about AEW and how WWE NXT sucks. Yes.
Well, I'm glad that you're in our chat and our party. Thank you for being here, even though you have.
Thank you
views.
for enjoying our product, even though you don't enjoy the product that we're talking about.
Let's get into this main event because we got JL saying just waiting for the Braun segment. But real quick before we go into that segment, there was a spot where Braun was training, and you have Paul Heyman in the back hyping him up. He's sitting there telling him, like, I've been around your father, your uncle, and you have what it takes to be here. It's something about that pairing. I was like, I would like to see more of it. What do you think about Braun and possible? Well, maybe not being paired with Paul Heyman, but like, how would you feel about a pairing of Paul and Braun?
I feel like it'd be nice if Paul Heyman were to take him under his wing. He could do the good promo work that Braun doesn't necessarily have the greatest promo speaking skills. I mean, his in-ring skill is great. It's just
fantastic.
Because of promo, I don't necessarily buy it. Like sometimes the tone and what he's saying doesn't necessarily work, at least for me. So I feel like Paul Heyman could definitely help out with that. Maybe give him some tips too on how to make it even better promo. I mean, look at what happened when Roman got paired with him for the first time. His skills got immensely better.
You know, when it comes to Braun's speaking ability, he's fine. He's not like he's not gonna go down. I don't think of like The Rock or anything, but I just think he does just fine when him on the mic. I asked that question because I just think Braun and Paul, something about him when I saw it, I said, this works, and I would be okay for this. I would be down for a Braun and Paul Heyman pairing. So then we get to the main event.
Well, I'm sorry. I just want to say this real quickly.
Sure.
Kiana thanked Asuka for finishing off Roxanne. Blair comes up to Asuka, talks to her in Japanese, which I thought was a nice thing. I was like, okay, wow. And I see somebody besides a Kyrie or an Io coming up to her speaking in Japanese and not yelling in her face. Fallon Henley tries to be nice and shake her hand, but then Tiffany decides to be a rude little daddy's little rich girl and say that from amazing champion to amazing champion. And I'm like, girl, you were one of the worst NXT women's champions ever. Ooh. I said that Mandy was better than you, and I hated Mandy's title reign, and that says a lot. And then she tells, then when Asuka leaves feeling all uncomfortable after Tiffany says, if you need anything, just tell me. And then she leaves. Asuka leaves because she feels very uncomfortable. And then Fallon is like, excuse me, did your daddy not teach you any manners? She's like, no, my daddy taught me how to treat people like you differently. She's like, okay, people who actually work hard for their money don't have trust funds, don't have anybody to buy everything, to buy their happiness for them. Okay, I see how to feud incoming, and I want Fallon Henley to beat the ever-living crap out of Tiffany Stratton.
Oh my God.
I want that cowgirl Barbie to beat that Malu Barbie down to size.
I was going to ask, is there a cowboy Barbie? But yes, there is, I bet.
There is, and besides the one outfit that was worn in the Barbie movie, which I'm sure I'll be seeing plenty of in Halloween this year.
You know, and once it's on Peacock, I will give that a whirl and watch that. You know what they're going to have on Peacock? I don't know if you ever played this game. It was called Five Nights at Freddy.
Oh God, don't remind me about that. I saw the commercial for the movie.
Yeah, the movie looks very horrible. I'm not going to pay to see it, but I would.
I'm not going to see it. I didn't play the game. I never got the hype about the game. It's like a scarier version of Chuck E. Cheese, which I didn't want because I felt like that would have traumatized my childhood from it. It's like when they made that move. It's like when they actually made a Winnie the Pooh serial killer movie.
Right.
And it's on Peacock, and I'm just like, why are y'all trying to ruin our childhoods like this?
Well, you know what it is when all these things are on domain, and you could just get the rights and do whatever. That's why people do that. Like Mickey Mouse was was in the domain for a while, and people were sitting there saying maybe they're gonna make a horror movie or something with me. I don't need to see Mickey in a horror movie. I don't
No.
want to. I don't want to see that. Real
If you're
quick,
gonna make a movie based on something from a childhood, just do it based off like a horror video game or something, like 2006 Silent Hill.
we got JL, man. Quite a few haters in the building talking about JL. H man says also I wanted to tell the ones with negative points on unbiased point board. The door is now open. It's time for you to go through it. I miss this young man so much, and I'm glad that he is back. The world is right once again, because I miss this guy. Who do you think is Tiffany's daddy? I don't know. I'm going to say one of the guys from. I'm going to say one of the guys from Blink 182. I really don't know. I think it's one of the guys from Blink 182. Not too much on Tiffany, LOL, but I want this match. That's why I beat Tiffany Stratton in WWE 2K23. Is that what you get the game for, to beat people up? I'm proud of you, man.
I beat the hell out of Captain. That comment sounded like when WWE Games on Instagram put out a clip that someone had played of Carmelo Hayes and someone else.
I saw that one.
And then Carmelo put a comment like, "Come on, Carmelo, beat him."
Yeah, he said, "Carmelo, fight back." Yeah, that's what he said.
Dude, come on. It's just a game.
Jeffrey said, "I would $1 million man. I would bet." I don't need to see him coming out here and saying,
we don't need.
I don't want to see that at all.
If we wanted something like that, we wouldn't do the whole
thing. But I see why he said that, though. It's totally like, I get it, $1 million man.
It means that daddy's with a rich girl. It makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. But let's get into this main event. These guys have had 3 matches. One at Stand and Deliver. I forgot what the other PLE was between Bron and Melo. They're both out here. Bron with Paul Heyman, Melo with John Cena. And these guys had a pretty solid match. These guys had a really... I thought the encounter was fun. It's always fun. Like, so Bron, right? Melo was, I would think Melo is the quicker of the two, but Bron does this thing sometimes when he runs through the ropes, and just before he hit you with a shoulder block, he's running even faster, and it's quite intimidating when you see him running fast, because that's a big boy.
Oh, he's building up his speed.
Yep. And these guys had
seeing that in person is crazy. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Well, seeing them in person?
Well, seeing him do that in person.
Okay. I had Ivy Niles make Tiffany Stratton tap out. He meant in the game. Oh, he meant in the game.
George, did you make sure that the ref saw it? You have to make sure the ref sees it, because she's tapped like 20 times as champion, and the ref never.
You know what you should do? If I could throw a suggestion, because I've been playing these games. I'm pretty sure me and George have been playing these games for the same amount of time. But I'm going to sit here and throw it. George is like 10 years older than me, though. But we've been playing this game for the amount of years. You got to take off the no disqualification. You know why? Because then you could proceed to beat the hell out of the ref. Because sometimes the ref just gets in your way. Sometimes there's been times where I went for something, the ref got in the way, and I got disqualified for it. So what I do is I'll roll out the ring, get my little kendo stick. I'm more of a bat guy. I'll get a bat and proceed to beat the hell out of the ref. And the ref deserves every last bit of that ass whooping. And also make sure it's a male, because if it's a female, you can't hit them at all. Just wanted to throw out this. Make sure you have
George. The ref did see it. Good.
Fantastic. But these two had a really solid match. And it's not really that we're talking about the match so much. It's more about what happened after. During this match, they really stacked this card up, because there was a spot where Bron was going to do something, and John Cena took the steel steps out of his hand. He hit Bron. I don't know why he didn't get disqualified. I'm sure the ref saw it. He hits Bron, but then Solo Sikoa comes out of nowhere, and then these two are fighting. And I said, "Oh wow, they really wasn't playing with all hands on deck." And then I got worried here for a minute, because I said, "Oh, with John Cena out." Matter of fact, we should throw this out here real quick. The winner of this match is going to be in next week's match for the triple. It's going to be a triple threat for a #1 contender for Dragunov NXT Championship. I believe they're going to have it at Halloween Havoc.
Yep.
But at the spot, I thought that with John Cena leaving, somehow Paul Heyman was going to interfere. Something was going to happen, and Braun was going to get the win. There was even a close call where it looked like Braun was going to win. He hits that move where he lifts you up and slams you into the
Oh,
ground.
look,
But
each man helped. He said the ref was distracted by Heyman.
oh, so he
So
could
that's
use that.
why he
Oh,
didn't
thank you.
see Cena attack him.
Fantastic. See, this is why H-Man. This is. We're gonna go on a tag team expedition, and we're just gonna win all the gold. This guy get it. Thank you for that. Um, this guy in the chat, dog, like
Sergio, if you do not like our product, then why do you come watch us talk about the product?
it is. It does give
We were
weird
talking
behavior.
about if we were talking about AEW, then stay, but we're not. So the door's that way.
I'm sorry. JL is fantastic. He said, "Nah, the ref saw. He paid the ref. He paid the ref. I don't
And look,
know what to make.
He spelled paid wrong
Because
again.
he's
Look,
angry.
I'll give you
Because
a
he's so
type.
angry.
I'll autocorrect it for you, JL, because you spelled it wrong.
Look at the thing at the end. He said, "Damn, I'm getting riled up. I mean, paid." Just imagine. Can you just write everything, JL? No, hold on, wait, JL. Just for me, just write everything in caps because I believe that you are yelling right about now. I don't believe you. I don't believe you can go into a library because you yell. I don't believe you. And look, he's still going paid off. This guy's like Thanos Spanky. Oh, you guys are just making the show so much fun. I give up. Oh my God, this code came out. Russell, dog, keep talking. I got this code. Please keep talking.
Well, let's see. Mello didn't miss this time and destroy the ever-living crap out of Bron Breakker with his finisher. And then now it's not going to be just a heel on heel match. Now we're actually going to have a babyface in there, and the match ended. And I thought it was going to be over, but then the lights turned off, and we received the American Badass version of The Undertaker. Now, I saw him moving his feet on that bike. Here, it's an exception. Why? There's no ramp, and that room is smaller than a giant arena. Corbin. But Bron Breakker gets destroyed by another WWE Hall of Famer in The Undertaker.
Yeah, the chat is so like you guys don't understand how much like it's hot. I'm about to take this onesie off right about now, just show off the white shirt. But like H-Man is on fire. Like this guy right here, bro. You picked the wrong night in chat box to troll. Why did this thing go up so high? Like Jesus, I'm reading my guy's thing here. Box of troll. I hereby show you the forbidden of the forbidden doors. I love it. I love this. I love this so much. H-Man, the forbiddenness. Braun got robbed and got attacked by a foreign object. Got attacked. Foreign object.
Yeah, he got attacked by a foreign object. Too bad the referee didn't see it because the person that was coming to help Braun distracted him.
And this guy with the nickname for Undertaker had his hands wrapped in metal. Did he? I don't think he did. I don't know what you're talking about.
I think he's blind. I think he just has, you know how some people have selective hearing? I think he has selective vision and sees what he wants to see. I think he's wearing rose-colored glasses. I think he's trying to disillusion himself with the fact that Bron Breakker is supposedly the greatest of all time. He was
I do want to sit here and say Braun sold the hell out of that choke slam though. Like when Undertaker got him up,
then you're doing your job right.
Oh yeah, he did a fantastic job.
But I just want to discuss one more thing before we close the show. We had a little vignette of the soon-to-be debuting Brian Pillman Jr. And he's talking about how he had a father that raised him, and then he has his actual father, and then he said the word king. Now, mind you, they put out an article about a day or two ago saying that they trademarked the name Lexus King. Now, did I not tell y'all that when they signed Brian Pillman Jr. that they was going to change his name? And this one was like, no, they're not going to change his name. His father, there's a big legacy involved. Bron Breakker got his name changed. He wasn't Stein or anything. So I had a feeling they were going to do the exact same thing to Brian Pillman. I was just like, when I saw that, I was like, I knew it. I called it. I was like, they didn't show anything about Brian Pillman being in there. If they had just done what they did with Braun on the first day of NXT 2.0 and just randomly put the Titantron and have him come out, then it would have gotten people talking and being like, for some people who don't know him or don't watch the product of AEW, like, who is this guy? Because I didn't know who Bron Breakker was. I didn't know he was a second generation. I didn't know he was part of the Steiner family until later on, like sometime last year.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I found out. But I feel like if they had just kept that part a secret, like didn't show who it was, like at all, like made it completely dark, like keep it anonymous, I thought I would have been more interested. And then when he would have debuted, I would have been like, oh shit, that's Brian Pillman Jr.
All right, that's a hell of a pitch. Name change. WWE's it's weird because like there's
They
times
want
when
to
people
trademark names, but they can't use actual names, which I get.
right, but it
That's
depends
why
on
I
the.
knew they were going to change his name.
I think it depends because, you said they can't use real names. I don't know why because there's certain people that can keep their names. So like I think about AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Nakamura. They were able to keep their names, and then there was a bunch of other people like Sammy had to change his name. Finn from
did to his. Kevin Owens changed it.
Kevin Owens, but his wasn't even like really dramatic. You know, it was like he still.
It was just the last name. But
yeah, it was just the last name. But
thing.
Kevin Owens, that's a great example. He had to. Hideo Itami, he was Kenta, but then and I get that. But then there's other cases like how I mentioned. There's some people who still keep their name, so I don't know how that works.
I mean,
but
they had a rule for a while that indie wrestlers who came in couldn't use their indie name. They had to. They got it changed by default.
We got H-Man, but I guess they did it because how Brian Pillman Jr. was already established, and fans actually complained WWE for not acknowledging Braun's family for the longest. That was weird, like for a period.
It was weird. I mean, if they had acknowledged like he was part of the Steiner legacy, like yeah, I would have known.
I'm sorry,
I would have found out. I probably would have looked a little bit more into it. Maybe would have known about that math promo that this one was telling me about that I had never seen. And I love how JL is talking about how I'm a fraud fan and I didn't know who he was before last year. Technically, I knew who he was when 2.0 came out because I was there and he debuted that day and I saw him in person. I knew who he was. I just did not know who his family was. And I like finding out who people are organically because then I can become a fan of who they are in the ring versus who their family is.
You heard that, JL? I know you had a rough night.
That's the fun part for me when I go to wrestling shows. I go to indie shows, and if I don't know who anybody is, I don't do research because I like to be interested organically. I've broken that rule twice, but
I break the rules all the time, so you doing it twice is okay. I do it for a living. JL, did you see that? You just got a promo by the champ, and you just been
JL is talking about the Braun Matt promo. I'm talking about from his father,
uncle.
Not Braun.
Uncle.
His uncle.
Yes. See? There we go. But that's the show. We went longer than we thought we would, but almost you guys.
Well, we went on some tangents, so.
We did, but you guys are what makes this show so much fun.
As champion, I say we can go on our tangents.
We can do that. See, only on Tuesday nights is where you have the champ. You don't get it on. We don't have a show. Oh, we do have a show on Mondays. Mike, right? He's not a champ.
He might not be champion this time, but he is a champion of making a wrestling show for the intelligent wrestling fans.
And so that's why I'm there.
Who's smart enough and has a big enough brain, go ahead and give it a watch.
We got H-Man in the chat. Both JL. JL, I wanted to read his first. Said Braun's Mad promo was magnificent. It was because it was pretty much his uncle's.
He did a copy and paste of it, just made it slightly different. It's like when you get the answers for a test or homework from a website and you just modify the answers a bit so it sounds like you wrote it.
And we got H-Man. He says, I still remember Bron's vignette when he said, you want a friend? Go get a dog. And that should have probably made me a fan off of it, but it didn't. And it took me this hill run for me to be like, Bron's doing this thing. And I'm happy to be, and I can sit here and say out loud, I was glad that I was wrong because I wasn't feeling the Bron character and stuff. But now I see him and I'm like, this dude is it. This dude is legit. But let's do some plugs and let's ready to end the show. Like we was just talking on Monday afternoons at 6 p.m. You can catch our good friend Mike Knox, the Mike Knox Show. You can hear him. He's talking about all things wrestling, WWE, AEW, some wrestling news. He's shouting, like JL. JL, I think you and Mike would be great friends because I'm pretty sure that
JL would shout that Bron Breakker is the greatest wrestler of all time, and Mike would shout that Charlotte Flair is the greatest women's wrestler of all time.
And I could just see the librarian saying, "Oh my God, this is our library." And on Tuesday, you can catch us. We're going to be talking NXT. Right? We got the champ here on Tuesday night. And you guys, obviously you guys are the party. Wednesday, I'm not sure when they're going to do a Dynamite review. I'm assuming they'll do one tomorrow. I'm assuming, not sure. So, what's his name? Vertigo or Syndigo? Forget his name. Okay, the guy who keeps saying something about AEW and trying to fight with the chat.
Sergey.
The chat. What's his name? Sergey? I was trying to say his name wrong on purpose. But him, you could catch. Thank you. See, that's why we work very well together. But
Chelsea Green to your Matt Cardona.
There we go. I got
included.
I got booed. I went to an HOG show. It's gonna be an HOG show this Friday, and I cheered for one Matt Cardona. I cheered for him. I was like, yeah, and I was yelling. And there was a 5-year-old who looked me in the face, and I looked at him back because I wanted him to know that I don't fear no 5-year-old. But he did this to me. I said, oh, and then looked me up and down like I was scum. And I've never wanted to fight a 5-year-old more than that day. But his father was there, and he was kind of big. I think his left boob was bigger than all of me, so I did nothing. But that's neither here or there. AEW show Wednesday. There's the entertainment side. I think they're still doing Saw. There's a link to the entertainment.
Saw has 10 movies, and if they did Saw 3D, then they had to do Jigsaw, Saw 9, or whatever. And then Saw 10, and then there's probably going to be a Saw 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 coming out. Lord tells know when they're going to stop. I don't know if or when they're going to stop that franchise. It's like Fast and the Furious. When are they going to stop?
Oh, my. I swear. Like, they just need to stop. I swear. I know what I'm doing before I go to
How many more creative torture machines can you make for people to appreciate the life they have and or possibly become an apprentice to the Jigsaw Killer and all the predecessors?
Real quick, because we have new H-Man, and he said on Thursday is his mom's birthday, and we say happy birthday to your mother, and we hope that she has a fantastic day that day. So Thursday, happy birthday to Mama New H-Man. Wanted to say that because he said we're cool, and I appreciate that. And he also
may not have a top 5 for Thursday. We'll figure that out.
We'll figure that out. You continue to follow, and thank you, H-Man. Open that door for that 5-year-old because I was shook. And I'm trying to think what else we got here. I think that's it. You have your
champion. I also have my YouTube channel, The Unofficial Camera Woman.
Whoop, whoop.
I just need 101 more subscribers to reach that 1,000.
Please click the link. The link is in
people that you know who like wrestling, who like watching those that were on WWE, on Raw, on SmackDown, on NXT being jobbers, on AEW also being jobbers, on Impact and NWA and Ring of Honor possibly being jobbers.
Please give that give her a patience.
All those people all the love and support. Watch your men's wrestling, your women's wrestling, your tag team wrestling, your mixed tag team wrestling, all that fun stuff.
That is fantastic. Click the link. Follow her. If you're not following her, great content out there.
And
you're plugging
this one because he also has his own thing with the Captain Shade, the Big Top Theory podcast, which they also have a YouTube channel as well.
We do have a YouTube channel. Thank you for that plug there. we're starting to put out some content out there. On Thursdays, you could catch Shay Sawyer and friend of the show, and Cat We Trust. They review NXT. I'm sometimes in the chat just tearing everyone apart. Yeah, thank you. But we also have an audio podcast. We just did a recording Sunday. We put it out on Monday, so you can check it out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google. What's that thing called? Google Podcast. So please give us.
Said Jay is finally of height in the picture.
What the hell is that supposed to mean? What was wrong with the other picture? Did you?
I don't know.
Thank you. I don't know. I think Jeffrey just wants to start things. Jeffrey's a starter, and I don't appreciate that, Jeffrey. But yes,
from the way you're making it sound like he's an instigator.
He is. I don't trust Jeffrey. Jeffrey's the kind of guy, like, if we went out somewhere and we had fries, I would know that I had 29 fries and he took one. That's the kind of person you are, Jeffrey Reimer. Okay, I'm done yelling. Anyway, that's Unpopular Review. That's the NXT show. We said all the things we had to plug. Follow all these lovely things. A lot of great content here.
On all social medias.
There's all these social medias that, yes, please. And so this guy's still here. Like, it's
saying don't do that. Don't do what? What am I doing?
Yeah, what are you talking about, Jeffrey?
If it was what he was saying, I was just giving him the word for it. That's it.
H-Man is the worst.
Where was Finn Balor and I probably recovering from the fact that he and Damian Priest lost the tag belts at the last lane to a random makeshift team that we did not expect to win.
He just said, H-Man.
You're laughing about as much as Jay and Cody were during their press conference where they came out drunk.
Oh,
I'm amazed at how articulate Cody was while intoxicated.
He looked like he had a good time. He was like,
if you party with Jey Uso, it is a good time, apparently.
Oh my God, he looked blasted. Even the spot we said, yeah, something, and they said,
I love that they did the fair warning, like we may or may not have had one or two libations. How articulate is he? I haven't heard anybody call alcohol like that in ever.
Right? Who was that? Cody, right?
Yeah. Would Jey Uso say libations for alcohol? No, he would have said we got wasted, y'all.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they looked like they had a good time. That was a funny and I've only seen like maybe, I don't know, like a minute of it.
No, they put the whole thing on YouTube, so
I feel like I have to watch that now. I think before I go to sleep.
It's about 60 minutes. It'll be horribly long.
But all right, guys, we're
gonna wrap it up.
We're wrapping it up. We're really wrapping up. But we'll see you guys next Tuesday. Once again, follow all this stuff. And let me see some. Oh yeah, we're trying to hit the outro, so we're gonna hit the outro. So, good night, everybody, and thank you for watching us, and adios. Thanks for watching us. We'll see you guys next Tuesday. Yeet!